The Nexus 5 is the flagship device for Google and its specification can be considered high-end even today. It's got a 4.95-inch 1920 by 1080 Full HD display with a 445 ppi pixel density. The phone has Gorilla Glass 3 and should protect it from minor drops.
The Moto X was launched in August last year. It has a compact form factor due to a 4.7-inch 720p display that fits edge to edge. It is an AMOLED type display, so the colors are vibrant and the contrast is pleasing. The only place where the Nexus 5 beats the Moto X is sheerly in the number of pixels. But having said that, a 312 ppi pixel density is not so bad.
The device is powered by a Snapdragon 800 chipset, clocked at 2.3 GHz with 2 GB of RAM. Even though the Nexus 5 does not have the latest processor anymore, it still has enough grunt to run pretty much any application available on the Google Play Store. If you like playing high-end games, you won't be disappointed. The Adreno 330 GPU ensures of that.
The Moto X's hardware is undoubtedly aging. It is powered by a dual-core 1.7 GHz Snapdragon S4 Pro chip. But oddly, it was coupled with an Adreno 320 graphics chip that is usually paired with a higher Snapdragon 600 CPU. The phone isn't as butter smooth as the Nexus 5. Power users may see a bit of lag here and there, but it's fast enough for common users.
The Nexus 5 was launched with 4.4 KitKat, the latest from Android. It was also the first phone to get all the updates that followed. The Nexus 5 will also be updated to Android L when it's officially released in a couple of months. In fact, the preview of Android L is already available for those who like to experiment.
Motorola has done a few things right when it comes to software. First of all, they haven't touched the stock Android UI just for the sake of differentiation. Instead, they worked on some of the best functions of the phone like touchless controls or active display. The Moto X already runs Android 4.4.4 KitKat. It is also confirmed to receive the Android L update.
The Google Now launcher was exclusive to the Nexus 5 when it was launched. Having said that, it's now available for all phones running Android 4.1. With a recent software update, you can say, "OK Google," on any screen, including the lock screen, to activate Google Now.
Speaking of some of those software enhancements of the Moto X, Active Display lets you read notifications even without unlocking your phone. Using always-on motion sensors, it conveniently shows up when you pick up the phone. Next, by saying "OK Google Now," without even touching the phone, it wakes it up and your commands can then be passed to Google Now. It also reads your notifications for you.
The camera on Nexus phones were always average, and the Nexus 5 is no exception. It has an 8-megapixel Sony sensor with optical image stabilization. Now, the optical image stabilization helps to negate handshakes and ensures a clear picture every time you tap the shutter button. The camera has been improved significantly by software updates since the phone was launched. It may not be the best in the game, but it ends up taking pictures that should be acceptable to many.
The Moto X's 10 megapixel camera was called out by many people as its weakest point in the beginning. But with each software update, the camera clarity seems to have gotten better. It has come to a point where in bright outdoors, the camera takes extremely sharp and detailed photos. In low lighting though, the camera takes very average shots. Lastly, I just love the camera gesture where 2 quick twists launches the camera app. The 2200 mAh battery on the Moto X is inadequate and power users will need to charge their phones at least twice a day. On moderate usage though, the phone can stretch through a working day.
The battery is a 2300 mAh unit and provides decent backup. But if you are a power user, you'll need charging after the 10-hour mark. If you are a hardcore gamer, you'll need to connect it to the charger after 4 hours.
Bottom line, although the Moto X is a very usable phone, there is no denying that its hardware is aging. Plus, on 4th of September 2014, a successor to the Moto X, apparently named the X Plus 1, is launching with up-to-date hardware.
So if you were to choose between the Nexus 5 and the Moto X today, despite the Moto X's special features, we'd recommend the Nexus 5 as the safer option. Also, for people desiring a true Google phone, the Nexus 5 is the best choice they've got.
But all this could change once we get to see what's in store on 4th of September.